section of Midway in Westmoreland. When we visited the community this morning, there was still some evidence of rainfall. Residents showed us a shop which was anchored, but in minutes it was washed away from its location. Now with the tropical cyclone forecast to hit Jamaica in a matter of hours, the residents say they're concerned, particularly about the drainage situation.
I'm worried because right now this is where I eat my food, and if the tropical storm come and the drain don't look after so we might go to work because everything will shut down.
But it's expected to increase.
Among the areas where we have had flooding is the Bagua Gorge, the lower reaches of Clarendon, the area from Lionel Town heading to Racecourse in the alley area, the alley bridge. The water is now flowing over it. We have had flooding in Albion, sections of Yallas, the road from Yallas to Lloyd's. That road has been impassable owing to the flooded ford. The Barry Road over in St. Catherine, that too is flooded.
Preliminary assessment as soon as the weather permits. In the meantime, Mr. Shaw admits there is no quick fix to the massive breakaway in McGlashan Rural St. Andrew. In Primetime News Monday, we highlighted that scores of people are now cut off from the other side of the community and have been without piped water.
The breakaway, I'm advised, is like 4 stories deep, and our more senior engineers are slated to visit the location as soon as the weather allows them so to do. What we are going to do is to put together a technical solution. This will be put forward to the ministry, and the matter will be taken from there. From the preliminary reports and investigations, it is going to be an expensive undertaking to have this particular situation treated with.
Closer to the island, Mark Collins should have been preparing to seek safer grounds, but instead, he was praying the system would change its course. He lives under a tree at Sigourney Beach at Bournemouth Gardens and knew he was completely exposed to the impact of the inclement weather. But Mr. Collins says he had no choice but to bear the brunt of the rain bearing down on him. He says he sat up all night Tuesday while it poured.
Not right now.
Mr. Collins was willing to pay the monthly rent of $5,000.
I've been here living from the first week of January from 8 Winard Road, Kingston Place.
He says he can drive trucks, standard or automatic, but explained he is unemployed because he was caught smoking on the job, which was prohibited. He now has regrets.
Would make it up now again with that next company.
Mr. Collins survives mainly by fishing or taken by flies, but without proper storage, they quickly spoil, which he says are some of his immediate needs.
Right? Dry clothes, cornmeal, flour, sugar, rice, tin food, dry food, tough crackers, spring crackers, cornmeal, you name it.
He says a pair of size 8 shoes would also help him.
Swamp ford in Moran Bay, St. Thomas after a few hours of rainfall. The ford is now impassable. As a result, residents of Lloyd's
right now, somebody gave me that take sick to the hospital right now, and somebody still want to see what medical attention. Right now, they want to stay in the community and dead.
Drivers also had to abandon their vehicles along the roadway and complete their journey on foot. They use this footbridge that's just above the ford, but even that route is causing great distress. The water level is rising, which means the bridge could soon become completely submerged under flood waters if the heavy rains persist. To make a troubling situation even worse, the bridge is barely holding up.
The contractor, therefore, even if it rains and you're coming through and the water rises, it can wash you off that footbridge.
We cannot go through the bridge because it's all dug out by
The residents feel Tuesday's flood highlights a deeper issue that has been affecting the community for years.
The bridge and the river been promised to be trained for years now. For years. Too much promises.
This foundation now here now that constantly finds itself in desperate needs. Money was granted to do work for it. And up until this day, nothing has happened.
For now, the residents say they're staying put, hoping frantically that the weather improves. In the meantime, communications manager at the National Works Agency, Stephen Shaw, is urging Jamaicans to avoid crossing fordings which are in spate.
For a bridge, in 2023, nobody wants to be using fordings. In 2024, nobody wants to be using a fording. And next year, 2025, we will have to address it properly. It's a challenge that we have put forward. A design is in place, but like anything else, show me the money.
Who resides in McGrill, Westmoreland, had to travel miles on his motorcycle to purchase diesel for his generator. Seemingly distressed, he told the TVJ News that he lost power and that his home was also flooded.
The storm is powerful, never really expected to come like this. The resident buried, here is the rain that killed it. Yeah, and they closed the whole place. They have an air and they come to the house.
Trees and flooded shops following a gust of wind. Now, chairman of the Negril Destination Assurance Council, Richard Wallace, also gave an update on the impact on hotels.
So we're still experiencing some storm conditions, but at this point we haven't received any reports of any significant damage to any hotel property or business at this point. We had a power outage for a few hours, but power has been restored.
He went further.
This as a result, we got a lot of flooding, and usually, you know, the water will run off in short order, and we're hoping that that will happen. I know there was some damage to some individuals and so you know, we hope that they will get the assistance that they need to get back on their feet.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Western, Morland Wilson, says based on his assessment, drain cleaning is top priority.
We have had some flooding up in the Whitehall community. We have had several community members who would have experienced some flooding. I've been here prior to the rain, and now that the rain has started, we have seen where we need some drain cleaning. We have seen where improper disposal of garbage would result in these garbage being washed down in some of our drain and our canals and blocking the drain, so you wouldn't have the water flowing as it should, resulting in flooding.
Order. He met a resident in Grange Hill who lost his roof.
We have several trees that have fallen, several branches that have broken down, impeding traffic, so we have a bit of cleaning to do. It's not major. I got reports from Grange Hill. We have about 5 persons who have moved into shelter. Right here in Israel, I have reports of more than 15-20 people who have migrated to high ground from low-lying areas. In fact, when I was here, I saw several children packing up their toys and their blankets, moving to family home.
Morning in Waterloo, St. Catherine belies the danger that lurks in the community. At least 2 motorists were caught in the clutches of deteriorating roads throughout the day. A resident says flood waters were high in the streets and in her backyard after non-stop rainfall from Monday night. And with each bout of shower, Mayor Norman Scott grows more concerned. He says the municipal corporation has been monitoring the area for the past 3 to 4 weeks when a previous flood event happened.
There's some water coming from Sligo. We don't know exactly where it's coming from, but it is creating serious havoc in the Waterloo area, Sligoville Road.
He wants the Mines and Geology Division as well as the operators of the North Coast Highway to thoroughly assess that roadway to find the source of the flooding.
We never had that kind of situation prior to the advent of the North Coast Highway. And this is something that I've been saying before and during the construction of the highway, that the people who has responsibility for the construction need to look at where the highway is crossing the main roads.
In the meantime, he laments unsuccessful attempts to fix the issue.
We just spent millions we were trying to concrete the road up at Waterloo, and it was washed away the other day, and we started to do some clearing up. It's again been inundated by this rain. The same thing is happening around by Caymanas, where we see the flooding again. We don't know where this water is coming from.
The $65 million Golden Acres police station, built about 4 years ago, still unused, sits in a pool of water in an area prone to flooding. While across the parish is a picture of disaster. Flooded roads and homes in Big Pond, Caymanas Bay, Troja, Winter Pen in Spanish Town, St. John's Road, Spring Village, and Bushy Park. And there were landslides in Glengoff and Guys Hill.
But do expect the occasional outburst of shower and some heavy winds. Reporting from Trisha.
Intruder floodwater early Tuesday morning. Several people had to evacuate immediately or risk being trapped in the community.
Because the water come up early this morning, the flood out, man. I know I'm sure it flood out already. Over here, sir, empty everybody evacuate already. Right, Pastor? Come on, look, empty evacuate. You see? Oh, and tears, I bet it up already.
Although Tropical Storm Rafael continues to move away from the island, more rain is in the forecast, and residents are fearing the worst. Many people in the community have just started to recover from Hurricane Beryl.
But that's everybody down for the bottom of saying I listen up. But they don't see as you check it. Because as soon as they get the water a little bit more, they know say everybody down at the bottom of your evacuate. You see?
Well, pipeline, you know, big and shelter, me have guy shelter, but me not to go in a boat. But in my street full of water, the right now flood out in the street out.
So far, almost a dozen people in Clarendon have moved to the 2 shelters that have been activated in the parish. However, shelter manager Ines Williams is appealing for more residents to evacuate the community.
We have bedding and everything already in place. So all the other people are coming. We have resources from the last hurricane. Yes.
Many fishers who told us they are yet to bounce back from Hurricane Beryl also raised concerns about how the intense rainfall could again disrupt their livelihoods.
For instance, whenever you the park, just for instance, just like reference to, and we used to stand coming when the park near him leave, we know, try to make back with ice money and we get some money.
Yeah, they say right now, the trade room was on the matter part. I'm going to get another one different from here. I try to save me the answer. Yeah, fisherman, right now, say a fisherman just had like passing and through my life and renew me a fishing for boy. I might through my life and renew me I get nothing for a fish with, nothing for nobody.
Kelisha Williams.
Sections of Clarendon following heavy winds and downpour brought on by Tropical Storm Rafael on Tuesday. And now, some areas are without power.
The area of Moko, there are sections in Moko that are presently without electricity. There are areas in northwest Clarendon that are out of electricity, i.e. the reaches division.
Some of these same communities were impacted after several poles were destroyed following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Maypen Mayor Joel Williams says he's been calling for the Jamaica Public Service Company JPS to address some of the aging infrastructure for several months.
And believe me, nothing has happened. The JPS representative to our emergency disaster preparedness meeting yesterday came under extreme pressure, and they sent someone who was not in a position to answer some of the questions. So it does not amaze me.
In the meantime, JPS says it's aware that sections of the parish are without electricity. The company says the passage of Tropical Storm Rafael damaged some infrastructure. TVJ News understands it will be deployed as soon as it is safe to do so. While the residents wait for the power to be restored, Mayor Williams is making this appeal.
I want to use this opportunity to call on JPS to bring the infrastructure of their company that serves the people of Jamaica up to par. They are woefully wanting. And because of that, I don't know, you're making profit, but the infrastructure is falling apart.
Anthony, look.
Near 11 kilometers per hour. The next service says a turn to the northwest is expected later today. Thereafter, it's expected to continue in this direction over the next few days. That the hilly terrain was unstable from the passage of Hurricane Ben.
Because when this came up at this year, because some of the drains of the road, some of them black, and then you have this problem. So this is like a pool for the water.
Dozens of residents have been left stranded since the road collapsed, and many people are now fear that their livelihoods will be severely impacted over the next few weeks.
The coffee, and right now it's coffee season, and we don't hear much this year, but we have to be picking our stuff, so it affects everybody. Everybody is affected. Don't wait until this, now they're going to come now.